Yeah, totally. That totally makes sense. So we're here now. 2 of our 5-star legacy sisters are here, and so we're waiting for the other 2. But actually, it's good that it's you 2 that are here, because at the end of our last one, Nana and Nicola felt that our one wasn't businessy enough in a way. So they don't know this, but I did say last week on the show that we're going to practice some radical honesty on this show.
You sure you want to unleash us?
Yeah, so what would it look like? Girls, open platform now. What would it look like? What do you need it to look like for us to get into some deep business work for our 5-star legacy?
I think for me, it's what we discussed, is sanctions. Real harsh sanctions for not doing what you say you're going to do. And where we're all friends and we've created our sisterhood, I don't mind being brutally honest and being like, look, you have to do it. The 2-chance rule, and then you're out. I think that being thrown out may be the thing that really spurs you on to do
Get
the
it
work.
done.
Yeah, to actually like implement a goal that you say. That would be it for me, I think. Without that, then we are just friends.
And she says that like friends.
Friends helping each other along. Yeah.
Chugga, chugga, chugga.
And you, Nicola?
Discipline definitely is one of them, but I think what I have to do for myself is you've got to take what you can from the sisterhood, from the legacies mastermind group we've got, but I've realised that what I need is not within that group.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got to take one aspect that holds me in a very secure space within our 5, but also look externally to bring the things that I want, because there are our group goals, but there's mainly our individual goals as well. And with all the love in the world, you have to recognise when you have to surround yourself with the people that are more experienced than you are to help you to get to where you want to go. And it doesn't mean in 5 years' time or 2 years' time or a period of time the experience won't be within our group, but now it isn't, and I'm not here to waste time. So there is that kind of
one life, innit?
Yeah, and there is that kind of habit that people can get into as not wanting to offend, and I'm definitely that person. I spent too long in too many bad relationships because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. The truth of the matter is, with all the love in the world within the group, you're still living your life. You're not living my life.
Absolutely.
And so if I say that I'm screwed because of X, Y, Z, everyone's going to say, well, why didn't you? Why didn't you?
Yeah.
And then I'll feel like crap. So I'm looking for the things that bolt on to that to add to my own individual growth. I think it's within us, but it's not there at the moment. And 2020
so
is
who
right
are
here.
some of the professionals, or what are some of the professionals that you're now looking to bring into your sphere?
Yeah, so without calling any specific names, because I haven't
maybe
identified.
professions.
So I'm looking for people that do know how to contract a business and then make it expand again, because every business has got a life cycle. And you're serious about there's a startup point with a business, so you have to keep the business alive at a startup point. Most people think you start a business and it just grows. It doesn't work like that. Then you've got almost like the teenage years of business when it's growing, and then you've got to rein it in when it's out of order. And then you want it to grow up into an adult. So I'm at the stage where it's teenage business. It's getting pimples, it's getting acne, and it's just a little bit bad manners. I've got to contract it, but now I need someone who can help me to raise an adult effectively. And so it's those kind of people I'm looking at. So I'm actually I've got a mentor now, and she's just raised $500,000 for her business. So speaking to someone like that, how do you even go about doing that, and what is the right kind of money to get? No one in our group will have that information.
Absolutely.
Right. So and the realities of that, because there's the theory and there's the realities of that. So there's that. Also actually solidifying some of the rules that we have within our group as well. So things like, and we mentioned it earlier on, timekeeping. Why is it even important? Why? I mean, we say it's important,
Yeah.
but why is it important? It feels good to me, but
Yeah.
is there a real tangible benefit to it? And what does it do for a business owner? And why are business owners always on time? Why?
Yes. Yes.
So really realising all those things and surround myself with those kind of people, because the bottom line is you can't help poor people if you're one of them. So
yeah.
I want to be rich.
Yeah. I like that. I like that very, very, very much. Yes, totally. I've got a coach now, and she's very, very interesting because she does talk a lot about. I will get it wrong. It's not your sphere of influence, but it's part of that. So she was telling me about basically if you're on 20 grand a year. And you want to be on £1 million a year, and you say you want to do that in 4 weeks. Well, unless you've got a gold mine, it's not in your sphere of reality. So everybody has spheres of reality, and so what you do is you've got what you want, and you have to see how close to my sphere that I have at the moment is it, and then you have to then decide and make a plan to have a sphere that is big enough to have £1 million a year near your sphere of reality. And I really, really like it because it did make me think about, almost like your aura. So it's how to make yourself be closer to where it is that you want to be. And definitely she talks a lot about a lot of that is to do with also sometimes how you extend your sphere isn't necessarily just what you are doing in your practice, but it is also who you know. So if in your sphere of business you're very far away from £1 million a year, but you know somebody who's earning £1 million a year, well, you're a little bit closer. Even though it's not quite yours yet, you're just that little bit closer. So I think it's a natural progression of starting a mastermind that starts with people with micro businesses. And I think that's actually a really interesting thing, because maybe actually 5-Star Legacy can be for a while a kind of micro business mastermind, and then it nurtures, helps, and then people tentacles start shooting out, and it can maybe as you were saying with your business being in a teenage thing, it can actually turn into a teenager and then become an adult as we all go along. So I'll ask Nana, what's the biggest thing you learnt about yourself doing the last 100 days?
Biggest thing that when I really set myself to achieve a goal, I do, even if it's not within the time frame that I had initially set out. But as soon as I track the steps, it's like it actually does happen. That was the biggest thing. Also, I think I realised that I have less patience than I thought I did. I always thought I was a very patient person, but I started to realise, but maybe it's just as getting older, kids getting bigger, feeling that time is running away as I get closer to 40. I think maybe there was more things where it's like, okay, are you using the best? Are you using your time wisely? And just as you were talking, I was thinking in one of the sessions, I kept on asking about perception, because it was going through my head exactly what your coach was talking about in terms of where I want to be. Is my universal perception actually leading me in that way? Am I in, is my field of aura like a millionaire? And that's what I was thinking of in terms of like my look, what I'm putting out there, who I'm associated with, who my circle is, and all of those things. I was really thinking about that. So that would be the biggest thing. I had lots to think about. And Kwame as well, really listening to him, because obviously I've had him in my ear longer than everybody else, and speaking about my business, and for a good few years I didn't really get what he was talking about. It just sounded like he would just be getting at me, just like, okay, here he goes again. But within the mastermind, then I started to really understand when he's saying, are you doing business or are you playing at business?
Yes,
it's like,
yeah,
of course, yeah, I see what he's saying now, because I'm just there like, oh, I'm tired, I've done this, and it is, I'm not measuring. Yes. Why are you doing this event? Why do you have this shop? I'm not measuring how much I'm putting into what I'm getting out. I'm just doing it. And that was one of the biggest things, was actually to take a bit of a break, to stop and think, what are you really doing and what do you want to do? Really, instead of just paying bills, do you actually even want to be doing this?
I suppose it's that thing of realising, it's like, what do you want to get out of something? Like, where do you want to be? I mean, that's one of the things my coach talks about a lot, is starting from, where do you want to be? What's that picture where you want to be? I was telling you ladies about my picture of sitting in my little hotel and shop and restaurant, and my son driving up the hill and coming in to tell me about his latest deal, and surveying all that I've achieved, kind of thing, and people in the infinity pool, and she's like, right, hold on to that, and then you work backwards to where you are right now. And I can really see Kwame has been very influential, I think, for all of us. He definitely got into our heads. I think, Nicola, what would you say is the biggest thing you realised about yourself in the process?
We had a catch-up meeting the other day, and I think the biggest thing, being totally honest, is how dishonest I am about what I want to achieve and what it will take to achieve it. I think you can get in this kind of, like you said, Nana, are you doing business or playing at business? And I've got a very good aptitude of looking the part. Really, I'm pulled together. Like, if you could talk to me, and I'm it. And then there's the reality of what that really looks like. And I want it. You just, sometimes it's just harder than you anticipate. And so it's that realization, and just being honest with that, and then realizing, actually, I have to do the work. There's no shortcuts. There's no kind of like, everyone's going to come and feed your village. You've just got to get it together. And you've got to be aware of the market. You've got to be aware of your finances. You've got to be aware of how to follow trends. You've got to be aware of your accounts. You just got to be aware. And there's no, Western world, African world. It's just like the business of being in business and what that looks like. And that's what I want. So it's just about really being honest with myself. And it's not a nice thing to say, and I'm kind of like surprised I'm even saying it out loud. But I think for me, it's just about being free and saying, actually, if I really want this, I've just got to let go of all those demons and just let it loose and just move from there.
And when we were talking on Sunday, and you said that, and it was so funny as you were saying it, because it really was kind of like one of the last epiphanies while I was away about myself. So I've been away in Slovakia with one of my best friends, and who's also a business consultant, and it was brilliant. I recommend it to everybody. Find the most boring country you can, go there with a piece of paper and a laptop, and just do a business plan in a place where nothing is pulling you away from it, because it's just not that interesting. And it was really, really good. But one of the things that I discovered when I really had to go deep into all the goals that I'd set before the last 100 days was, it wasn't that I didn't want the things that I said that I wanted. I wanted them because, just like a kid walking past a shop really wants what's inside, they don't have to have any kind of knowledge about how you get it. And I think sometimes, maybe even in the kind of new age kind of thing and The Secret, why I'm not 100% into The Secret is there is a little bit of a thing that says if you want it enough, you're going to get it. And it's not. It doesn't matter. You can, if you're sitting outside of you know, I don't know, you're sitting outside of some hall and you want to go and see Beyonce and you don't have a ticket, pretty much you can want anything, you won't get in. You know, you've got to get off your ass and do what needs to be done to get what you want. And I think that's what I had to, you know, I was faced with it in black and white and red because I did all my side stuff in red, and it was, you want all of this, but actually, and you were busy, but some of that busyness was being a busy fool, and there was not enough targeting of the want with what action is going to make this want come true. And lots of my excuses about LinkedIn and, oh God, I don't get Twitter, and you know, all of those, oh, I don't understand what everyone's telling me I've got to do with my Instagram. I shall be honest, folks, I partook in some psychedelics, and it helped me to move away from that, whatever lock that was. And I did manage to do my Twitter and LinkedIn and started the tax and all the stuff that I'd been moaning in my head about and not doing. I just did them, and they took about 2.5 days. So it's like, wow, I didn't do this stuff over 100 days. And then I did it in 2.5 days. And from then on, I don't get what everyone's saying about Instagram, because none of my sister who's here was showing me stuff before and saying, like, you know, it's got to look like a magazine, like there's a theme. She could have been going,
No, I was. I created templates and you destroyed every single one of them.
I couldn't understand. That's what I mean. It was nonsense. I was like a 3-year-old. And then when I just kind of relaxed and was like, no, I want to do the work for what I want, suddenly it was like, I can make this thing look slick, you know, and I'm still learning, but I'm really, really carrying on, and I got to grips with Hootsuite, and then it's like, actually, it's not really that hard to put an update every now and again on LinkedIn. You know, it's not going to kill me. I'm not going to not make a dress because I updated on LinkedIn. But so it's been really, really interesting just drilling down into one's own personality and trying to stand outside of, you know, my personality and try and fix things. And so I've been feeling quite militant about fixing things, and at the moment I'm saving up a bit of money because now I'm ready for a hypnotist, because there's a few things that I can't fix myself at the moment, so I need big help. So that's going to be my next question to you ladies. Have you found anything that you're going to need big help to fix in yourself? Nana, do you want to go first?
I would say that definitely processes and definitely hiring the right team.
Right.
Is going to be important for me, and what does that look like? Yeah, I would definitely say processes is a big thing. And when I say processes, I'm talking about everything from, people call them funnels now, sales pipeline, that's just one of them, to, you know, how you engage with clients on a daily basis, especially since I'm in PR and marketing.
Right.
People will take your time.
Yes.
So I need now not to be this love person that can talk to me on the phone for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I've got to be the lawyer. So you've got to come to me, and if you want to talk to me for time, that's like £175 per hour.
Yeah.
I'll give you as much information you want in an hour, but you're going to pay that invoice first. Putting all those kind of processes in place, because at the end of the day, if you do want to build an empire, it takes those processes to help you to maintain and build that kind of foundation that builds an empire. An empire is not built on love and kindness and pretty. It's built on a process.
Yeah.
It's built on building those bricks, getting the sand, getting the water, getting it all together, putting them under the sun, baking them, and then putting the bricks together. And that's how you build it. And that's what I've got to do with my business.
Nana?
Well, there's so many bits that I'm figuring out. I would say the major thing that I really realised is I am really not good at customer service. And I have moments where I'm good, and then I slip because it's not my forte.
Mm-hmm.
What I love, absolutely love, is direct selling. And when it's really fast-paced selling.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also really love helping people to sell.
Right.
And teaching them how they can sell digitally or in a venue or a market stage, something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm good at, that's what I like. So everything else apart from that, I really need to find people to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what I've figured out now. I'm good at aspects and I'm not good at everything, and it's accepting that. And just taking it on the chin.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes have been made in this last 11 years, but I'm ready to have a bigger team.
Yes.
And that's the major thing.
Yeah. Excellent. And really interesting to hear and find out. Really interesting. It's quite funny actually. I think I might have said it before in one of our 100-day meetings that I feel like the 100 days, the first 100 days, was almost like a sort of prep for the next 100 days in a way. I think.
Yeah, and me and Nana said that when we first met actually. It was just like, it feels like this, not when we first met, but when we first met in person, should we say. And we were like, the first 100 days feels like a training of understanding how the 100 days even works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What you actually need to
yes.
fulfill fully 100 days of being focused on a goal.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I totally understand when Stefan was saying, didn't it take him 3 or 4?
Yeah. Because he couldn't even finish them.
And it's like, definitely. I mean, really, if we all looked at our 100 days, we did not complete it either. All we did was complete it in time. Which we were going to do anyway, because nobody died. So we were going to get to the end of the 100 days. But actually doing it focused every day on something for 100 days.
Yeah, totally.
That takes a lot.
Yeah,
and
it does.
Yeah, if we're all honest, it may be a third time round that we all get to do it in its entirety.
Third time?
Consistently for 100 days. I'm just being realistic for myself. I can only speak to myself. I know my cobwebs are not quite cleared yet. Where I can say at this point I could do 100 days every single day consistently. I don't have everything cracked right, but I do think I'm going to be better during the next 100 days, and the one after that, that's me.
Who's 100-day number 4? Joy.
So now, Miss Iola has come in. So I'm going to test your mic. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Oh yes, your mic is on. So you're looking lovely as well. You're looking
I've been actually makeup free all day, and I thought, let me just make an effort for my girls and put a bit of a slap on.
Very good. So tell us about your day while I try and turn this back on.